Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Daily English Stories and Podcasts. I'm so happy you're here with me again. Today's story is about something small, a tiny shop on the corner of my street and the people who make it truly special. It's been there for as long as I can remember, the kind of shop you almost forget about until you suddenly need it. It's not fancy or big. Just a little place with a faded blue sign and two old refrigerators humming by the entrance. But somehow, it has become a steady part of my daily life. I go there almost every morning, sometimes to buy milk for my coffee, sometimes to grab a pack of instant noodles for a quick lunch, and sometimes for no real reason at all, just to say hello. The owner is a man in his 60s named Mr. Nam. He's tall and slim, the kind, weathered face, and always has a white towel draped around his neck. His wife, Mrs. Lan, usually sits behind the counter, completely absorbed in Korean dramas on her phone. They run the place together, day and night, through rain or shine. Whenever I enter, Mr. Nam greets me with the same cheerful words, "Morning, young man, coffee or bread today?" Even if I don't buy either, he still laughs like he already knew the answer. One Sunday morning, I went there earlier than usual. The sky was clear, the street was still quiet, and the smell of freshly baked bread was floating from the bakery across the road. As I stepped inside, the little bell above the door made its usual soft ding. "Ah, early today," Mr. Nam said with a bright smile. "Couldn't sleep," I replied with a yawn. "Ah, I see," he laughed. "Then coffee will fix that." He handed me a small cup of instant coffee and leaned on the counter. There was something about that shop that felt timeless. The old curling posters on the wall, the dusty shelves full of everything from batteries to biscuits, and the faint sound of a radio playing love songs from 20 years ago. It always reminded me of simpler days. While I was paying, a little boy walked in. He looked about 7 or 8 years old, with messy hair and a very serious expression. He stood by the candy section, carefully counting the coins in his small hand. After a moment, he looked up and asked, "Uncle Nam, how much is this chocolate?" Mr. Nam smiled down at him and said, 5,000, little man." The boy's face fell as he looked at his coins again. He said softly, "I only have 3,000. There was a short silence. Then Mr. Nam bent down, took the chocolate, and said, "Well, lucky you. Today it's only 3. He winked and handed it to the boy. The kid's eyes widened in disbelief. "Really? Really, Mr. Nam?" confirmed. "But only if you promise to share it." The boy grinned from ear to ear, nodded quickly, and ran out of the shop, clutching his prize. I couldn't help smiling. "It was kind of you," I said. Mr. Nam just shrugged. "It's just chocolate," he said, "but sometimes a kid needs something sweet, not just in his mouth, but in his day." A few days later, I stopped by the shop again in the evening. It had been raining lightly, and the pavement outside was wet and shiny under the streetlights. Inside, it smelled faintly of detergent and instant noodles. Mr. Nam was restocking bottles on a shelf, and Mrs. Lan was sitting on a low stool, neatly folding small plastic bags. We talked for a bit about the rain, about how quiet the city gets on wet nights. Then an old woman walked in, holding an umbrella that had clearly seen better days. She moved slowly, and her hands were shaking slightly. "Do you have any bread left?" she asked in a soft voice. "Last one," Mr. Nam said, taking a loaf from behind the counter. The woman searched through her bag for money, but after a long moment, she sighed and said, "Oh dear. I think I forgot my purse." Mr. Nam didn't even blink. He smiled and said, Then you'll pay tomorrow." The woman looked surprised. "You trust me?" I laughed gently. "Of course. You've been buying bread here for 15 years. If I can't trust you, who can I trust?" She smiled, thanked him warmly, and left slowly with her umbrella. When the door closed, I said, "You're a good man, Mr. Nam." He shook his head. "No, I just remember what it's like to have good neighbors. The street isn't just buildings, it's people. And if we forget that, then we lose something important." I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded, and we both stood there in quiet agreement while the rain kept falling outside. A week later, something unexpected happened. I went to the shop as usual, but the door was locked. A small handwritten note was taped to the glass. "Closed for family reasons. Back soon." For the next 3 days, the shop stayed dark. The whole corner of the street felt empty and strange without it. It's funny how we don't realize the value of something until it disappears, even for just a short time. Then, on the 4th day, I saw the lights on again. The door was open. And inside, Mr. Nam was sitting behind the counter, looking a bit tired, but still smiling. "Back to work?" I asked, feeling relieved. He nodded slowly. "My wife wasn't feeling well," he said quietly. "She's fine now. But she told me, don't just sit around worrying. Go open the shop. People will miss your jokes." We both laughed, and I realized she was right. That little shop wasn't just a place to buy things. It was part of the street's rhythm, part of what made this big city feel like a home. Now, every time I pass by, I make sure to stop, even if I don't need anything. Sometimes I just buy a bottle of water or a pack of gum. Sometimes I stay for a few minutes, talking about the weather, the news, or nothing at all. Because in a world where everything moves too fast, that small shop on the corner reminds me to slow down, to look up, say hello, and to appreciate the small connections that quietly keep our days warm. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this story reminds you that kindness, dose, and tea always come from big gestures or grand places sometimes. It comes from a tiny shop and a simple act of care. I'll see you again next time for another warm and true story on Daily English Stories and Podcasts.